Another type of story that you can do with children is what I like to call a picture story. And what's really fun about a picture story is you can use pictures that are fiction or nonfiction, and you can mix it up. So maybe one day you do a picture from National Geographic, or a photo that you've used, or it could be just a silly photo that you've looked at online or in a different magazine. So what a picture story is you give children a picture. There's no words, and if there are words in there, it's very simple, and they need to create a story based off of the picture. So for example, here's a picture, and it is a girl in bed sleeping with her dog on the bed. So you would give the children the picture, and they need to create a story around it. It could be your expectation, and this could be done verbally. Obviously, with younger children, you're going to do it verbally. But as children start to get older, I've done an activity like this before at the end of kindergarten, and I've had the children write it. And I've had some children write 2 to 3 paragraphs about a topic. Those are obviously my more advanced children in kindergarten. But this could be done at circle time as something fun of, hey, I have this picture today, let's tell a story. And you kind of go around. You could even do kind of like the pillowcase story where each child adds on to it. But this is something really fun, and I think that you'll find that even though it's the same picture, everybody has the same thing that they're starting with. Every single story ends up completely different. It goes in completely different directions, which is the really cool part about storytelling. That, you know, you have the same item, but in the end, they all have different creativity and imaginations, and that they end up totally different. So it's really cool. So that is what I like to call picture stories. And I just want to give you some ideas of magazines too that are really good resources to get these kind of pictures from. This particular picture I got from Highlights magazines, which has fiction and nonfiction pictures in here. So there's realistic ones, and then there's silly ones that are in here. And then you can also get, I don't know if anybody still has access to Ranger Rick or those kind of magazines, or Kids National Geographic. Those ones are fantastic for the nonfiction pictures, which it's important to use those kind of real life pictures in there. Obviously, use your judgment about what pictures you're using. As with books and stuff, I wouldn't have magazines out or use pictures that could have potentially inappropriate things in them. But so those are 2 different magazines that I think are really great resources to use to get fun, creative pictures. Highlights, I think you're going to have like the fun little pictures like this. You could also go online. If you go online to Google and you just type in story starters for children, you can find, or even like picture story starters, you can get a bunch of fun different ones. And I mean, that kind of leads me into another impromptu, if you will, storytelling one, is story starters. So essentially the picture story is kind of like a story starter where you're giving them something to begin with. A sentence story starter would be you create the first part of the story for them. So for example, I did one year. It was really cool. It was, I don't have the exact words on me because again, this was impromptu, but it was, there was 2 children, they were playing at home and they were kicking a ball inside, a soccer ball inside, which mom has always told them that they're not allowed to kick the soccer ball inside. And lo and behold, they kick the soccer ball and it knocks over and breaks the lamp. And you hear a big crash. And then it ends. So the children had to come up with what happened next. And so that's really cool when you kind of give them a scenario to start with and they have to extend it. That's really fun. So that's what I would call a sentence story starter. So in this video, you have 2. You have picture stories and you have story starters. And again, if you use online as a resource, or highlights, Ranger Rick, any of those kind of, or Kids National Geographic. You could even do fun ones like Sports Illustrated or Kids Sports Illustrated, one of those if you want, like baseball or soccer ones or whatever the children are really into at that moment. Or you could always just Google a picture, like maybe they're really into dinosaurs. You could just Google a picture of a dinosaur. You could even look up like silly dinosaur pictures for kids, and you could have that as a picture story. And that way you're connecting it with something that they're interested in. So those are two different really fun ways to create stories with children.